Welcome back to Seedlings, the beginner's guide to literally everything homegrown. Today, we will be harvesting our turnip plant. As you can see, I'm sitting right in front of it. But the big question is, how did we get here? Because we definitely didn't purchase it from the shop. As you know, Seedlings was created to help you be able to grow, harvest, and enjoy foods grown from your own backyard. So turnips is one of the things that we have planted, grew, and now we're about to harvest. So what were some of the main things for us to get here? The first thing we have to be considerate of is climate. We understand that for us to be able to plant these seeds, we're going to do it very late summer, so the cooler weathers. But we must make sure we are still about 6 to 8 weeks before the cold sets in, or else your seeds will just freeze. Secondly, we have to think about the location. So the soil, understanding that turnips obviously are a bulb that's in the soil. We need to make sure our soil is nice and soft. However, we also need to make sure the acidity of our soil. So you need to make sure it's correctly balanced. So we do our own home fertilizer, which can be seen in another video. But it's to make sure you have really good soil, right? An additional thing, as you can see, there are no plants above us because we do need full sun. We do have partial shade, so we do have a tree on the one side. So in the afternoon, it does provide a little bit of shade. For planting seeds, we planted about 1 inch into the soil. And obviously our rows are about 1 inch apart, but we only did one. So you're only obviously going to see one because we are a small family for now, but one day we'll do our rows. Once the seedling is ready, we can obviously then transplant it if you are planting it in small containers and then going to transplant it into the garden. For watering, please ensure that you keep the soil nice and moist. Especially because these are like root plants. Be careful as well, because if your nitrogen is off, you actually start getting a very bitter fruit. So it's very important. It's not just good soil, it's well watered. So how do we take care of it? We understand that we are going to have pests, and that's why we do try to plant a little bit of our other organic material that can repel our pests. But the biggest thing obviously is our fertilizer, because that can directly influence the taste of our food. So too much nitrogen gives us a very bitter feel. The biggest thing, and I think what we really love about these plants, is that they are a 2-in-1. So the leaves can actually be eaten like you would a stir fry, and then we also have the turnip. So this is really, really exciting, because now we've literally planted a 2-in-1. All right. Common problems obviously are our pests and our diseases. So our powdery mildew that can develop on our leaves, which obviously we see our leaves are quite healthy. So come along, let's harvest. So let me show you. So what we are going to do is I'm just going to move the leaves over to the side so you can actually see it there. I'm going to remove some of the weedies that have grown around it. All right, so we're just going to open it up a little bit around it. And we're going to tug to pull out, yes? Yes. All right, so we're just going to just keep digging around it. So obviously you want it to be about 2 to 3 inches before we pull it out. We also don't want to keep it in the ground for too long, because it can actually rot in there if you keep it for too long. But you can also see with our leaves that we have a fairly good size. All right, so as you can come closer, maybe come a bit closer, you can kind of see I'm just making a nice well for it to kind of come out. We understand that the roots are nice and tug in there. So we are... Right, so if you come closer, you can actually see the bulb, and there's something that's still attached underneath. and that's actually the roots. It is actually so gorgeous. So see if you can get a nice close view of it. There it is, the beautiful bulb. And can you see that something's actually still attached there? So I'm still going to go in a bit deeper. And there is our roots. Oh, this is looking stunning. And there's our roots. So I'm going to cut at the roots because now I see the whole bulb. Right? Alright, can we all see that? I'm going to cut at the root. I'm going to yank it slowly maybe. So you can actually maybe see the roots. Let's rather do that. Let's get the whole plant out nicely. Alright. Okay, so we can come on close. There's our bulb, a little bit of roots, and we have extra food that we can use for stir-fry purposes. And that is our turnip. So let us invite our friends and turn it up. So let me actually show you another variation because there's one. So let me put one here so you can kind of see. Right, so come back again. So obviously the biggest thing with planting, especially in a small garden, is that we do something called overcrowding. And the only problem with overcrowding is that it causes that powdery mildew, which luckily we don't have because we check the garden obviously daily. We wipe the leaves after heavy rains. But let me just show you another one. So again, I'm going to make a little bit of a well around it. These ones look like a 2-in-1 because I think these ones were planted a little bit too close to each other. But you know, the perks of a small garden. Alright, there's one. I'm just trying to dig up the well so we can at least see the roots before we yank it up. There's our next bulb. And then we just nicely tug slowly. And again, I haven't cut it off so we can actually like see our roots nicely. And you can see the difference between the length of the roots and how nice and big our bulbs are. So that also speaks to how soft you want your ground to be. So you can feel this is a bit harder here compared to where we took out our other one. And then look at the difference. Oh, look how nice that root looks. And look how nice and full my bulb is. Alright, so we can see that the better the soil is, the better the rootings can go and the fuller the bulb we get. And again, we have our little stir-fry addition. And there we are. We are a small family. And now we have actually been able to harvest our own turnips. Understanding that it takes about 2 months, so 60 days. That's all it was, 60 days. And you have a stir-fry in your own home. Again, thank you for watching another Seedlings episode. Please make sure to either jump onto our Instagram page so that you can get the PDF version, just a step-by-step guide of how we've done it. We try to tailor make it to our experiences. We will not tell you something we have not experienced. Jump on, or you can most likely just drop a comment and say turn it up in my own home, and we are more than welcome to send you the PDF document to your personal inbox. Please ensure that you like, add a little comment and subscribe so that other young gardeners can easily find our page, and together we can ensure that we have a plant in every household. Until next time.